Tonight, violence abroad, local fear.
It's re-traumatizing, of course, just seeing those images that are unfortunately quite familiar for everybody.
A London attack on Muslims cited by American mass shooters. Plus, stemming the bleeding.
This milestone marks a transformative step in Canadian hemophilia care.
The new treatment at LHSC with life-changing potential. And punishing pet owners. City Hall considering fines for leaving animals in cars during extreme temperatures.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with concerns in the local Muslim community after a mass shooting in the U.S. earlier this week. 2 gunmen opened fire at a mosque in San Diego, and in the aftermath, a manifesto was discovered referencing a truck attack that killed 4 members of a London family 5 years ago. With more on the local reaction and the ongoing fear of hate-based violence, here's Jerry Dewan.
Police responded to reports of a shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego just before noon Monday. A security guard and 2 staff members were found dead outside the mosque.
It is extremely outrageous to target a place of worship.
The gunman, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, were found dead from self-inflicted wounds a short time later. The 75-page manifesto, believed to have been written by the shooters, was found online. It referenced the truck attack targeting a Muslim family in London on June 6th of 2021.
It's re-traumatizing, of course, just seeing those images that are unfortunately quite familiar for everybody.
Selma Toba is a board member with the Youth Coalition Combating Islamophobia. She's been active organizing Our London Family events and advocating for action to counter hate activities.
A lot of us in the Muslim community were anticipating this news. I think we know that hatred and violence inspires more violence, unfortunately.
The manifesto also identified the man who killed 6 at a Quebec City mosque in 2017 in a section called Heroes and Inspirations. Alexander Bissonnette was also named by the man responsible for a mass shooting at mosques in New Zealand in 2019.
It's draining beyond words. It's exhausting. Constantly having to be worried about your personal safety, about your community's safety, about the safety of your friends and family.
Toba says governments and community leaders must continue to confront hate speech, particularly online.
Really being aware of and understanding that we are at a time of rising white supremacist violence and that we're seeing these groups become more emboldened and that they inspire one another.
The 5th year anniversary of the tragedy here in London falls on a Saturday. There are a number of events planned, including a vigil here at the Our London Family Memorial starting at 6:30 in the evening. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Officials with Western's Northern Tornadoes Project say Tuesday's storm damage in London was caused by an EF1 downburst. They say at the peak of the storm, winds reached 145 kilometers an hour, uprooting trees and damaging roofs in East London. Yesterday, officials confirmed a tornado touched down near Belmont. No injuries have been reported from either incident.
After a wild weather forecast earlier this week, conditions improved today. Lots of sunshine, high pressure in play, and our conditions actually comfortable in terms of our temperatures, hovering slightly below seasonal. We do have clear conditions heading into the night as well, but we are tracking the next weather maker, and it's a big low pressure system that will pull in from the south. What that means for us, you'll need your umbrella this weekend. We have widespread rainfall in play and some embedded thunderstorm activity. We'll break it all down for you a little later in the show. Carlyle?
Thanks, Rita. London City councillors will consider fining pet owners who leave their animals exposed to dangerous temperatures inside a vehicle. Daryl Newcomb has more on that conversation just in time for summer weather.
Tails are wagging in this dog park after learning the City of London is considering a new $300 fine for leaving animals exposed to dangerous temperatures in unattended vehicles.
I think it's a great idea. I think dog owners, pet owners should be very, very careful when they leave their animals in an unattended vehicle.
In both summer and winter conditions, vehicle interiors can reach dangerous temperatures in only minutes. So last year, Council asked staff to bring forward bylaw amendments that would discourage and fine pet owners who put their animals at risk. The $300 amount is based on the most common penalty for a first offense in other municipalities.
I think that people are very okay with somebody receiving a fine if they have left their animal in a hot car. And I think this ultimately is about education and a reminder, do not do it.
London police say they're called to respond to distressed animals locked inside vehicles every summer, and criminal charges can potentially be laid. They remind Londoners that the public is not authorized to break a vehicle's window to free an animal.
That is a valid reason to call 911. Police, we have the ability to respond to that, and if need be, we can break that window. There's also animal welfare inspectors across the province that can respond as well.
Some municipalities require a specific temperature threshold outside to be met before a fine can be issued. In London's case, they're considering the status of the animal, specifically if there are reasonable grounds to conclude that the animal is in distress because of the temperatures inside the vehicle.
And it also allows for, let's say in the wintertime, if somebody leaves out an animal and it's been in their car for 5-6 hours, no heat's on, it gives a bit of leniency to our staff to be able to make that decision.
Frank adds that the municipal fine would help offset some of the policing costs when people dial 911.
We want to be able to recover that cost, and I think we want to make sure that our animals are as safe as possible.
Establishing the $300 fine will be considered by a council committee on May 25th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A new gene therapy treatment is available at London Health Sciences Centre for people living with a rare bleeding disorder. Previously, patients relied on regular transfusions. Brian Bicknell has more on what this could mean for the future of treatments.
So now, like when the doctor tell me you are good, first thing I will do, sports. Yeah.
Basil Abojowish dreamed of playing sports his whole life, especially soccer, but he could never get his kicks because he lives with hemophilia B, in which the body does not produce enough factor IX, a protein needed to clot blood or stop bleeding. This rare disorder comes with repeated unpredictable bleeds, joint damage, and a whole lot of pain.
It's a lot of pain, to be honest, like when you have a bleeding and you cannot like do your normal life activity, as I like even sometimes go to washroom. Like if you have bleeding in your ankle or anywhere, like you cannot walk.
For the 31-year-old and others with the disorder, it means lifelong treatment of ongoing and often weekly factor IX transfusions. But there is new hope for patients. Last week, Basil became the first person in Canada to be treated with Hemgenics at London Health Sciences Centre. It's a one-time gene therapy for adults with the disorder.
This milestone marks a transformative step in Canadian hemophilia care.
Dr. Chai Pua, who oversaw the treatment, says the new gene therapy, decades in the making, is life-changing for adults with the disorder.
Yes, absolutely. Major breakthrough because it shifts hemophilia B treatment from this lifelong frequent infusion to this one-time therapy that helps the body produce its own factor IX. And so less bleeding overall, less treatment burden, and potentially independence from regular treatment. It's a full paradigm shift in terms of how we treat hemophilia B.
As for Basil, he can't wait to leave the sidelines and finally get out on the pitch, a freedom he's never known.
To be honest, I never do sport in my life, so this is the big, yeah.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Police say they've charged a London man through a child porn investigation. According to police, the 23-year-old suspect was arrested last week following a search warrant at a home near Adelaide and Elias Street. Police say they seized electronic devices containing suspected child pornography, and he's scheduled for a court appearance next month. Provincial police have released a new video detailing a 38-year-old cold case from our region. OPP say Lois Hannah disappeared in July 1988 and she's presumed murdered. She was last seen leaving a dance in Lucknow. Police say they did find DNA left at the scene, but there have been no charges. According to OPP, new witness accounts place a suspicious car outside Hannah's kindergarten home the night of her disappearance, and they still have a detective working the case. Loved ones are sharing their memories tonight of Olivia Rourke, one of the 4 teenagers killed a year ago in a crash near Thorndale on their way home from a softball tournament with their coach. Scott Miller has more on the foundation now established in her honor and its focus on cancer care.
Olivia Rourke lit up every room she entered. She treated every day as an event, according to her parents, Dan and Jen.
I think we always knew that Olivia was special.
Yeah, but we didn't really know how special until people start sharing these stories with you that they wouldn't otherwise share. So she touched a lot of people, and she made a lot of people's lives better and more fun.
Olivia was one of 4 Walkerton area teens killed alongside their coach last May 23rd as they were driving home from a school softball tournament in Dorchester. The 17-year-old Rourke, known as Livy Wow to friends and family, was an avid athlete and leader at Walkerton District Community School, where she had organized a basketball tournament to raise money for breast cancer research in honor of her mother.
When her mom, Jen, was going through chemo, Olivia was there every step of the way with her. And that's a teenage helping her mother through one of the hardest things that a person can face.
Following her death, friends and family held the first ever Hoops for Hope basketball tournament in Olivia's honor, raising $20,000 to date towards cancer research. Cancer care is just one of the 3 pillars of the Olivia Rourke Foundation, founded just a few weeks after the accident.
Doing good through the foundation is a way to kind of keep Olivia's spirit alive. We think she would have done a lot of good in the world over her lifetime, so this is a way to maybe replace some of that that would have otherwise been done.
Along with cancer research, Olivia's foundation is focused on funding youth-led initiatives and advancing women in sport, including yearly awards at the Hanover Aerial Gymnastics Studio, where she competed and taught.
The kids were drawn to her. They all loved having her as a coach. It's just something that's inside of you. It's not really something you can teach. And that was part of who Olivia was.
Along with the annual Hoops for Hope basketball tournament in Walkerton each year, Olivia's uncle is riding his bike from Collingwood to Montreal in a Ride for Live this September to help raise money for the foundation.
We just want to continue to share that energy and that love of life. Every day for Olivia was an event.
Her family, her friends, we don't need a foundation to remember her because we'll never forget her. We couldn't forget it really if we tried. So the foundation isn't really for us. It's for everyone who really didn't get a chance to meet her so that they can feel just even a tiny bit of what a force she was in the world.
In Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
The provincial government is imposing a ban on Chinese-made drones, citing security concerns during highly sensitive police investigations. With more on those issues and whether other imports are affected, here's Adrian Gabriel.
They're a vital eye in the sky being used in active police investigations across Canada.
So this drone here weighs, like 7 pounds.
Though all drones manufactured by Chinese companies are now grounded and banned from use during highly sensitive Ontario provincial police operations to guard against what the province calls bad actors.
Growing concern that Chinese national intelligence laws will basically allow their government to have access to potentially use or weaponize, if you will, different types of electronics for espionage purposes.
This release by the Ontario government outlines that under current Chinese law, companies incorporated by China may be required to disclose data even if that data is stored outside of the country. This raises security concerns about Chinese-made drones, which could possibly access or store sensitive information. It's a worry that has led to similar steps being taken in both the U.S. and the UK.
So you can potentially embed an awful lot of basically spy malware across these different types of technologies, from the software itself to the hardware.
Some global security researchers believe other electronics developed and manufactured by Chinese companies should also be looked at closely.
Laptops, cell phones, tablets, these are all potential pieces of technology that are vulnerable.
While not currently deemed a risk by the federal government, there are those who believe the 49,000 Chinese-built electric vehicles destined for the Canadian market this year also need to be scrutinized.
If there's software, if there's electronics in those vehicles, which there obviously are, then those are potential security risks.
As for Chinese drones, the Ontario government says their usage will be phased out by each provincial agency and replaced in part by ones made by Canadian companies. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
A man from Stratford has completed a charity run across southern Ontario. According to a social media post, Sam Simon completed his run on Monday, raising money for cancer research. The post indicates he raised more than $35,000 for 3 charities supporting him and his family as his wife battles terminal cancer. Simon had said he was going to run the equivalent of a marathon every day over the course of a week from Stratford to Tobermory. Local mental health and addiction service providers are raising money for crisis support, specifically for first responders. They're hosting an event tonight at Bowler Mountain, and that's where we find our Lauren Stallone for more on this. Lauren, over to you.
Thank you so much, Carlyle. It's been a wonderful night here at Bowler, hearing more from first responders that have been affected by mental health. To tell us a little bit more about the importance of raising awareness and raising funds, I'm joined by Kaylee Boyd with London Fire. Kaylee, you are the wellness officer with London Fire. Tell us more about why this is so significant and so important here tonight.
Yeah, sure. I would say that that mental health is one of our major problems within the fire service. We have quite a few firefighters that are affected by it. I think it's one of the harder things for us to recognize, and often they don't know that they need it until it's a little bit too late. I would say that the crisis stabilization space is something that we've used, the London Fire Department has used, and I think increasing awareness is something that we really need to do.
And can you tell us a story or a situation when someone needed to use these beds and use these resources at the rehabilitation center?
Sure, yeah, we did have a firefighter that needed to use it. They found that they couldn't go home to their family, and they were in a situation that they weren't able to go home and they weren't able to parent, so they needed to go there, and they were provided help for days, and it was non-judgmental, and they felt very safe and supported.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what goes on at that center and what that kind of looks like?
Sure. I mean, I am relatively new to my role, and I would say that Sean is definitely the expert. But I've had a few different tours within there, and I know that they provide food. That our peer support team can provide access and can go through the back door. So if people don't want to go through the front door, they provide a great back door option. They can provide therapy, trauma-informed therapists, which is really something that's very important for firefighters, because people that understand what firefighters are going through is the support that our firefighters need.
And for anyone looking to donate or offer support or gain more information, where can they go?
The Canadian Mental Health Association website. That would be great, and we really, really appreciate the help that everyone can provide.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here today. I'll send it back to you for now, Carlyle.
All right, Lauren, thanks very much. When we come back, rapid expansion meets the reality of logistics. Canadian Armed Forces scrambling to cover an equipment shortage. Plus, Canada's Cup winners, Montreal clinching the country's first ever PWHL championship.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Canadian military officials say they are critically short on equipment. They say the situation is bad enough they're asking some personnel to return items to address the shortages. With more, here's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
Thousands of troops in the Ottawa area are being asked to hand in some of their field gear to help compensate for what the Defense Department is calling critical equipment shortages.
It doesn't send a very positive message, even though it might be normal. It just indicates just how weak the procurement system is, how low the stockpiles are, and just how much demand there is on operations right now.
About 10,000 troops received an email last week requesting they return rucksacks, patrol packs, tactical vests, and fragmentation vests. The Defense Department says the equipment will be reissued to deployable units. Personnel in non-deployable units do not require this equipment for their day-to-day duties. This, in conjunction with several other initiatives, will also help address potential shortfalls of items, particularly of highly demanded sizes.
It's a reflection of the mindset we've lived through several generations at National Defense, which is without enough to go around, you get by with as much as you can get away with.
Ottawa has promised to scale up military recruitment and add tens of billions to the defense budget. But experts say changing that scarcity mindset and modernizing procurement policies will take time.
Those
quite literally growing pains of an organization that for decades has not been used to grow and has policies in place that are, as we can see, not well adapted in terms of scale, scope, and complexity to the ask that the government has of the Canadian Armed Forces.
The department says these kinds of requests are issued periodically and that the gear could go to Latvia to new recruits or be used for training. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
A London hockey player is now a PWHL champion after clinching the Walter Cup last night. Defender Nicole Gosling contributed 3 points in 9 playoff games, helping Montreal become the first Canadian team to win the title. With more on their celebrations, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
The Victoire's captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin, hoisted the Walter Cup. That sterling silver trophy now on home soil.
Yes.
Tell me about holding this cup.
Oh, amazing. It's so heavy, but it's so worth it. I think all the effort of this group, it's been unbelievable. And being able to come back to Montreal and share with our fans, it's super cool.
A first win for Montreal, a first win for Canada too in PWHL history. And a victory for fans to savor.
I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been working for. And it's not just about the PWHL. It's about women playing hockey in Canada.
The Victoire clinched the championship in Game 4 over the Ottawa Charge. Abby Rock's shorthanded goal off her backhand. Now that was a thing of beauty for the highlight reel.
I just saw my chance and I figured I may as well try to score. And I'm happy I could get it done and get Pooh out of the box.
Poulin. Her team was determined to do everything possible so the world and Olympic champion would also add this piece of hardware missing from her trophy case. But she says it's the team's win and it will serve as inspiration for girls now growing up dreaming of hockey glory.
Yeah, I was that little kid back in the day where there's not many possibilities for us. There was a lot of men's hockey, but the Karen Ouellet, the Kim St. Pierre, they paved the way for all of us, and being able to do that and inspire the young generation, being part of PWHL.
And there will be a public celebration in coming days where the Victoire will show off the Walter Cup. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Owen Sound firefighters say they were able to help a family of stranded ducks this past weekend. They posted this video saying they were called to a sewer grate where as many as 10 ducklings were stuck. The video shows the firefighters scooping each one out of the sewer. They say it took about 20 minutes before they were all reunited with their mother. On the desk with Rita now, and I have to say a pretty pleasant spring day. A little cool, but with the sunshine, it felt lovely.
It was a beautiful spring day, and you're right, our temperatures were slightly on the cooler side, but we did have plenty of sunshine. Now, as we head into the evening, we're holding on to that warmth for tonight as well, currently sitting at that 16-degree mark. Again, slightly below what's normal for this time of year, which is the 20-degree mark. The record back in 1941 at 32 degrees. Record low -3 in 1967. Our sun will continue to shine tonight until 8:47, so get out there and enjoy the fresh, cool air. We are under an area of high pressure, and that's what brought us all that sunshine today, but we are tracking the next low pressure system, and it is a big one, folks. It will push through late day tomorrow into Saturday, and what that means for us is rainfall in the forecast. Showers, widespread rain, and some embedded thunderstorms as well for your Saturday. Now, again, tomorrow will be quite pleasant. Our temperatures will be near seasonal, but clouds will start to increase, and you could see the system start to edge in first thing Saturday morning, and then the yellow indicating some thunderstorm activity throughout the afternoon. That rain really not letting up until late day Sunday. It will continue to spin as it moves out, bringing in some light rainfall Sunday morning. Tonight, though, beautiful. The winds, a light breeze out of the east, and the temperature around 7 degrees. Overnight, we will start to climb up. So tomorrow morning, we'll wake up, the winds will pick up, the temperature will hit 19 degrees, and then we are expecting that late day rainfall later Friday, early Saturday morning. Our temperatures hovering around 19 degrees on Friday, and then dropping to 15 for your Saturday, 21 on Sunday. Once that system moves out, we'll see our temperatures start to climb to well above seasonal values for next week. 26 degrees, mainly sunny to a mix of sun and cloud
for your Monday through to Thursday here in London. Midwestern Ontario, that rain moving in a little bit later for you on Saturday, but most of the day Saturday will be cloudy and then showers, windy conditions, and those thunderstorms are certainly possible later in the day. Saturday heading into Sunday, again, cloudy. The chance of showers is there. Some wraparound rainfall, 18 degrees. And then there's that bump in temperatures. Mix of sun and cloud, which is beautiful. We welcome that sunshine. And then the warmth will start to build towards the middle of the week. Wednesday, the high 25, Carlyle. Again, we are expecting a big improvement once we get through this weekend.
All right, Rita, thanks very much. Still ahead, persisting travel preferences. The latest data showing Canadians choosing other destinations over the U.S.
A gorgeous afternoon in the Forest City, 18 degrees, sunshine, don't hate that.
We actually had Luke Combs out enjoying the sunshine the other day, and he stopped by a lemonade stand. He tipped $120 to the kids. Photos, it's so cute, over at Pure Country 93 on Instagram.
Gas prices in southern Ontario are expected to drop tomorrow. According to industry analysts, there could be a drop of 9 cents a litre overnight. In the Toronto area, that would bring prices for regular fuel down to about $1.82 a litre. Diesel could also see a 9 cent a litre drop tomorrow after rising 4 cents today. New Stats Canada data shows more Canadians are avoiding travel to the United States. Stats show this past March, Canadian returns from the U.S. dropped by 6.4% compared to the year before, a 15th straight month of year-over-year decline. Meanwhile, Americans made 1.3 million trips to Canada, an increase of 4.4%. The findings also show Canadians made 1.6 million return trips overseas in March, a 3.5% increase. There are increasing concerns among Ontario mechanics over the number of tires piling up in their storage. They're supposed to get recycled, but as John Venevalley-Rao reports, that's not happening.
It's been busy at Amarjeet Singh's tire shop as many customers are switching from winter to summer tires.
We have the more cars coming, more tire installing.
When a tire he encounters is at the end of its life, it's supposed to be recycled. But try as he might, Singh can't get anyone to pick them up.
I can see since maybe 2 months or 3 months, nobody came.
The result, a pile of tires in front of his northern Etobicoke store, and he's not the only mechanic spinning his wheels. We found hundreds of tires at other stores in the area, with an industry group saying it's happening all around.
We're getting reports from hundreds of collection sites across the province that they're now stranded with hundreds to thousands of tires.
It was the same story just 6 months ago. Consumers pay about $5 a tire that goes to companies contracted to pick them up, known as producer responsibility organizations, but they just weren't accepting them. Ontario's government just finished consultations on proposed measures that would require these organizations to pick up from anywhere with more than 50 tires and guarantee a response time.
We're basically teetering towards a tire crisis.
But the NDP's Tom Merkocevic says that's not enough. He's calling for the recycling targets to be lifted from about 65% back to 90% where they were before these tire piles started being an issue.
The producers got together, lobbied the government, they dropped the target down to 65%, and voila, you got tires everywhere because people are paying to recycle tires that are not getting recycled.
The worst case scenario, a tire fire, just like what happened in Hagersville in 1990. Ontario's Ministry of Environment said in a statement it's reviewing the consultations and, to be clear, our government expects producers and producer responsibility organizations to collect and manage all end-of-life tires as they become available. That may take months, with the per-tire price expected to increase in the meantime to $6 a tire. Singh has one big question.
I don't have any more room to where are we going to keep the tires.
He wants the tire recyclers to get rolling. John Woodward, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was up on strength in the energy sector. The TSX gained 248 points. In New York, the Dow added 276, the Nasdaq up 23. The Canadian dollar fell 0.17 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $7 an ounce, oil down almost $2 a barrel. The end of an era tonight in American late-night television. Stephen Colbert will sign off from The Late Show for the last time after CBS's parent company canceled the iconic program. And as John Venevalley-Rao reports, he isn't expected to go quietly.
After tonight, we have only one more show left.
In the lead-up to the finale,
All sorts of A-listers dropping by to say goodbye to a show that never shied away from politically charged humor. And among them, Colbert's former colleague, Jon Stewart.
Stephen, get ready for the ride of your life.
With Talking Heads frontman David Byrne, perhaps summing up the feelings towards the network that pulled the plug.
It's The Late Show with David Letterman.
Making its debut on CBS 33 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a promo. This is the actual show.
Stephen Colbert took the helm in 2015.
We are up here for the wanton destruction of CBS property.
David Letterman recently joining him.
This is yours. This is my desk chair.
To mark the show's controversial demise, announced after Colbert mocked a $16 million settlement between CBS parent company Paramount and U.S. President Donald Trump, calling it a big fat bribe. CBS insists the show's cancellation was a purely financial decision, but the timing left many unconvinced.
He took politics and made it part of the everyday conversation in a way that was satirical. He was trying to get people to think.
Recently joining Colbert on set, his fellow late-night hosts.
Is there anything that we have not touched on before we move on to this? I'm curious.
The outrage that your show is being thrown off the air?
Yeah. Some worry others will suffer the same fate.
You know, Seth Meyers is trying to introduce himself as next, you know, so these guys see it coming.
Anybody here from Canada?
Colbert often made Canada part of the conversation. From lampooning Trump's tariffs.
Why tax our maple syrup?
To interviewing Canadian politicians and celebrities, even belting out a classic maritime folk song.
But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
And now for Colbert, it's one last show and a late-night landscape that may never be the same. John Venevalley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
We dressed up and went out on the red carpet and we met Pedro Pascal.
Still to come, the trip of a lifetime for a local Star Wars superfan, how he landed a spot at the premiere of the franchise's latest film. Welcome back. A two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, Kyle Busch, has died. The Busch family and NASCAR issued a joint statement saying Busch died after he was hospitalized. No cause of death was given, but the family had said he was hospitalized with a severe illness. Kyle Busch was 41. An Ontario business is selling specially trained dogs, not for police services, but for private home protection. Karis Mapp has more on the clientele interested in these animals and the concern from some critics.
Don't let these friendly faces fool you. One word of command, and these furry companions will leap into protection mode.
They're just neutral, happy-go-lucky dogs that you can absolutely pet. You can have guests in your home. You can have kids play with them. That's majority of it, right? What they also have the ability to do is to deter. That's your bark on command, they will bite on command, and let go on command as well.
Aus, Platz. Clients from across the country seeking protection from the St. Agatha-based business.
I am hard of hearing, so he also lets me know when there's somebody coming from behind.
I live in downtown Kitchener, and while I don't live alone, I am the one who takes the dogs out and go around.
Demand for the dogs, who are trained and sold for roughly $50,000, is on the rise. Historically selling 3 to 4 a year, Ryan Ralph says he's seen a shift in the demographic of people now looking to purchase the animals.
It's no longer just the typical people you would expect to have a protection dog, security details, private executives. It's the average family these days, right? We're more than a dozen dogs every year for the last 2 years, and it's not normal.
The rise seen across the industry.
I would say 4 years, but the last 2 years, we've really seen a big influence in the need and request for the family home protection program, for sure.
With clients looking for dynamic home protection.
They've seen maybe a story that hits too close to home, whether it's a break and enter, whether it's a snatching.
They're afraid to sleep, their kids are in the house, and all these events happen when their families are home.
Special licensing is not necessary to buy a guard dog, with responsibility falling under the Dog Owners Liability Act. But former OPP Commissioner Chris Lewis says, given his history working with canines, animals can often be unpredictable or even dangerous.
You're better off with alarms and lights and proper lock systems for your house. And if you want to have a dog that will bark and scare the heck out of someone and prevent them from coming in, as opposed opposed to one that may attack a friend, a family member, or yourself.
If you do choose to explore the guard dog route, Perry warns to do your research before buying.
You're buying a security asset, not just a companion, but it's a protector that's going to be involved with your family and your pattern of life.
Kara Smapp, CTV News, St. Agatha.
The latest inductees into the London Music Hall of Fame were announced last night. Officials with the Forest City London Music Awards announced an induction for Teddy Leonard, a blues musician whose professional career began in London. They also announced 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards, one for Fred Smith, a longtime country radio host, and the Jones family for their involvement in building the city's live entertainment landscape.
It's a long history of the Jones family. My father and my uncle in 1935 opened Wonderland Gardens in May of 1935. I started with Mr. Dressup, doing all the touring shows for Mr. Dressup for 20 years, and then with Stuart McLean from CBC Radio. It's a wonderful history of the whole Jones family going back into the 30s, and I'm very proud of it, and this award means a lot to us.
It's time now for your London list, and I'm joined by KP with Virgin. Now, KP, there's a lot going on this weekend, a lot of food happening, which I always love.
So much food, so I'm so excited. We're going to kick off the weekend with a pizza party. So this is happening at the Growing Chefs HQ on King Street in downtown London. They have this huge pizza party every year. The Growing Chefs, they put on this massive feast. It's all-you-can-eat pizza buffet, and it's the best pizza you've ever had. And all the money raised actually goes right back to charity to support Growing Chefs Ontario.
And there's also some shows happening as well this weekend, so dinner and a show, it kind of works perfectly.
Yeah, you can check out Clue. That's happening all weekend at Canada Life Place. And again, it's the Broadway version of Clue. It's going to be so good. Actually, my co-host is going to be there as well. He's like cheering them on, so it's going to be a really good vibe. Definitely check out Canada Life Place and their website for all the show times for that. And Come From Away, also happening in downtown London. That's happening at the Grand. You know, fantastic show. I went opening weekend. Have you seen it?
Well, I haven't.
It's
I haven't
so
seen
good.
it yet.
It's so good. It's just all Newfoundland, East Coast vibes. They've got like some shanty songs in there. Just a lot of fun. So definitely check that one out. That's happening, I mean, until the end of May at the Grand Theatre, too.
And there's a night market. I saw it on TikTok. It looks like they have a lot of fun things for people to choose from.
Yeah, so this is happening every Friday now until mid-August at 100 Kellogg. So it's their night market. They have it in the courtyard. They've got lights up, and it's just like so beautiful. But they've got a lot of really good like resellers and vintage sellers and vendors, which is really cool to kind of repurpose and, you know, have that like, you know, sustainability aspect too. And then a lot of artisans and food, and it's also good. And after all that shopping, you're going to want to go to Poutine Feast because that's happening in Victoria Park too. So that's happening all weekend as well. It's free to attend. You go and get your poutine. They've got vendors that travel around. Like, this is what they do. They make the best poutine. So you go, you eat, you play games, you listen to live music, and have just an awesome time and a really full belly.
Well, who doesn't love poutine? I mean, it's a favorite.
Like, it's Canadian.
Well, thank you so much, KP. There you have it. There's your London list.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer April Lang in Godridge. A beautiful sunset. Thanks so much for sharing. We have more sunshine in the forecast for Friday morning, but cloud cover will increase late in the day as the low pressure system approaches just in time for the weekend. That means we'll be under showers on Saturday and gusty winds as well. Heading into Sunday, we're expecting clearing late in the day. Next week, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud and temperatures climbing into the mid-20s.
An Air France flight headed to Detroit was forced to divert to Montreal last night after a passenger was denied entry into the U.S. Air France officials say the issue stemmed from American entry restrictions tied to the Ebola outbreak in the Congo. U.S. border agents say the passenger had recently been in East Africa and was allowed to board the flight in Paris in error. Under current U.S. rules, travelers from certain countries can only enter through Washington, D.C. In Ontario, one person is in hospital for Ebola virus testing. Health officials say they also recently returned from East Africa, and there are currently no confirmed cases in Canada. The outbreaks in the Congo and Uganda have resulted in at least 139 deaths out of more than 600 suspected cases. World Health Organization officials say a potential vaccine is at least 6 months away. A Canadian citizen living in the U.S. for decades has been charged with voting illegally. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, the man faces 1 count of unlawful voting by an alien and 1 count of knowingly casting a fraudulent ballot. Prosecutors say the suspect became a permanent resident in 1987 and has been living north of Boston. If convicted, he could face up to 5 years in prison, as well as fines ranging from $100,000 to $250,000. No. Conservationists in the Kitchener area are raising concerns about the number of birds dying from flying into glass windows. They say it's an issue right across the country, asking business and homeowners to help turn the trend around. Colton Weens reports.
One is a yellow warbler. He was found at Google.
It's one of the around 40 to 50 dead birds Meredith Blunt has collected outside the Google building in Kitchener since last August. And in that time, bird-friendly Kitchener has collected around 230 dead birds around different glass buildings in the city.
We had some suspicions about certain locations in downtown Kitchener, created patrol routes, and started monitoring.
Blunt says, like many modern buildings, Google has windows that reflect the sky and nearby trees, often tricking migratory birds looking for food or rest.
We found birds on every side of the campus.
Blunt says they did arrange a meeting with Google, but no one showed up.
We're really not trying to vilify anyone. I honestly believe that some of this is just not knowing and a lack of education, and that is what Bird Friendly Kitchener is here to do. We know about these things. We want to share our knowledge.
They have shared their findings with the University of Waterloo and the City of Kitchener. The city was already in the process of replacing old windows and is installing panes with bird-friendly dotting, while the university is putting stickers on some windows at the Quantum Nano Center after a successful pilot on a campus bridge.
We already saw many collisions at QNC even before we started monitoring. So they're still installing it as we speak. So we can't really say definitively like what it's looking like right now. But for the SLC bridge, we have seen like a 79% decrease in bird collisions.
In Canada, window collisions kill 16 to 42 million birds a year. Experts say it's not just commercial buildings, but any window reflecting the landscape, with the average detached home seeing around 11 fatal collisions a year.
Individual buildings are some of the leading causes of it. When you multiply that across the number of homes there are just within Canada, the numbers add up really fast.
Freeze says birds face natural losses through predators, invasive species, habitat loss, and parasites. So window collisions are just another challenging source of decline that could be avoided.
It's not just common birds that are being affected. We're talking about at-risk species, endangered species, and adding that in addition to their problems is going to make it really challenging for the recovery.
This is new data for our city, especially as we grow. This is something we want to take into consideration. It's heartbreaking, though, every day. Every day there's a sense of dread.
Colton Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A developing story now from City Hall where.
Download the CTV News app.
I'm Sherry Flick, your host of Weekend Spotlight, Saturday mornings, 8 a.m., inviting you to join me this Saturday. Did you know we have an international test pilot school right here in London, and it's the only location in Canada? We're going to talk to them, as well as a patient ambassador at St. Joseph's Healthcare Foundation about the Dream Lottery, and the Dream Lottery organizers about some upcoming deadlines, and Highland Cinemas. That more at 8 a.m. Saturday.
Finally tonight, a local Star Wars superfan recently got back from the trip of a lifetime, experiencing a Hollywood premiere for the franchise's latest film. Brent Lail has more on the costume that took him from Corunna to the red carpet.
This is the First Order Stormtrooper that I wore in the Macy's Day Parade back in 2021.
That was Star Wars cosplayer Dean McInnes, front and center.
I belong to 3 Star Wars fan clubs. I belong to the Mandalorian Mercs, the 501st, and the Rebel Legion. So with them, we do a lot of charity events. We go to children's hospitals. All the money we raise goes to the charities.
Dean has 9 official Star Wars costumes, including this Darth Vader one from The Empire Strikes Back. But it was his official fan club approved Din Djarin outfit which caught the attention of Lucasfilm. They flew him from southwestern Ontario to Hollywood to be on the red carpet for the premiere of the upcoming film, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
We dressed up and went out on the red carpet, and we met Pedro Pascal, Jon Favreau, and all the stars that were in the film. They signed our stuff, and it was so great. And then right after that, we de-kitted, and they waited for us to come into the theater. And we went into the El Capitan, and we watched the movie, and it was fantastic.
Strap in.
There's something for everybody. In this new movie that's out, we saw it. I was smiling for the first hour. I couldn't get the grin off my face sitting there watching. I couldn't believe I was there. It's a dream come true for any Star Wars fan to go there, but to be that involved and to be that present with all the actors and Disney and LFL bringing us there to do everything, it's so fantastic.
Thursday night, McInnes will make the 1-hour drive to join 15 of his fan club friends in London, Ontario for the local premiere.
I recommend people to go see it. It's an adventure from start to end, and Grogu is the star.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.